Shaizzle, bitch.
Believe it.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay. I'm back today with another video. And as y'all can tell by the title of the video, I'm finally doing the story time y'all have been asking me for ever since I dropped the video to my song, R.I.P. Mom, about my mom. So that was in April. Yeah. So y'all been asking for this video since April. And I asked y'all on Instagram yesterday, either or, like which one y'all wanted. Majority of everyone said they wanted this one. So here I am. I'm just really gonna dive into this video. I don't really know how this is gonna go, if I'm being completely honest. I'm really doing this while Christians sleep because no one has really heard this story besides the people that were there or like people I've been close with, which is not a lot of people. So a lot of people do not know the story because I never really like to talk about it. Christian doesn't even know, so I'm gonna have to sit him down and show him this before I upload it. If y'all don't see it, Christian went faking with it. If y'all do see it, Christian let me upload it, because I'm not gonna upload it if Christian don't want to upload it. Like, that's just that. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and get into it. Y'all, if I look off a lot, just bear with me. Like, I'm talking, but even when I'm telling other stories, like, I just look around. Y'all know I look around in my videos, so I'm focused. I'm here. Let's do it. Okay, so my mom passed on February the 15th, 2017, and I'm gonna tell y'all from the beginning to basically, I guess, the end, because I literally remember this like it was yesterday. Like, every second, every minute is vividly in my head. So on February 15th, as everyone knows, the day after Valentine's Day, on February 15th, I woke up and I was at my house that I had before my other apartment. So when I went to sleep, like, my mom was there, my dad was there, my brother obviously was there, Christian, and my boyfriend at the time, like, he was there. So when I went to sleep, everyone was there. I was in college at the time, so that morning I woke up, February 15th, I woke up late. I had woke up late and I had to get to my math lecture, like, nothing to it. I had to get to class. Normally, the way my house was set up, my room was in the front of the house by the main door, and then it was Christian room, and then it would be the room, like the guest room where my parents and stuff would be. So I always parked my car in the back of the house because the way my driveway was set up, you come into the front and then you could park in the back and come through the back entrance. I always park my car in the back of the house. So because I had woke up late that morning, I did not drive my car to school because, like, when I jumped up, I was like, shit, I gotta go. So I ran out the front door and I jumped in. My boyfriend at the time, I jumped in his car because he had parked in the front. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna drive your car to school. That was the first morning I had went out the front entrance. Normally my morning routine was I would wake up, you feel me, get ready, you feel me, like eat whatever. If my parents were there, like if my mom was there, I'll mess with her, go in the room, you know, chit chat, do it up like that, talk to Christian. But like, since I was late, I didn't talk to nobody. Like, I just ran out the front door and I left for class. So I'm in class at this point, and everyone knew at the time, like, when I'm in class, don't call me. You feel me? Like, you can text me and I'll try to respond, but like, don't call me because, like, I need to focus. So I'm sitting in class and, like, I was fine, you feel me? Like, I was okay, but then after a second, I just started feeling really bad. And like, I'm not making this up, y'all. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But it's like instantly I just had this wave of sadness come over me. It's like I just got instantly sad. And I'm like, okay. I just thought it was because I was in math, and like I don't really like math. I just thought I was ready to go home. So after that, probably like 2 or 3 minutes afterwards, my phone started ringing, and it was my boyfriend at the time. And I'm like, he know not to call me when I'm in class. Like, why is he calling me? So I didn't answer. He calls me again. I'm like, why is he calling me? Like, he know not to call me while I'm in class. Like, why are you calling me? So at that point, I'm like, okay, I did just get a bad feeling, and I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, I probably need to answer this. And the way it is in my family, I don't know if it works for everybody, but whenever you get a feeling, you go with it. Because whenever you get that feeling, you most likely right. And anytime I've ever had a bad feeling, I've always been right. It's just I don't know what the feeling is about until after the bad thing happened. So I'm like, that's what that was. So he called me in, and I looked up at my professor, and I was just like, you feel me? So I got up and walked out. I answered the phone, and he was like, you need to come home. And I'm like, what you talking about? Why you calling me? I'm in class. You know not to call me. And he was like, you need to come home. Your mom, she not breathing. And like, when he said that, I was like, when he said that, I kind of just like, I kind of froze. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He was like, your mom, she not breathing. Like, you gotta come home. Yeah, I come home. And like, after that, I just felt like everything around me was just closing in. I'm like, I don't get it. You feel me? Like, I'm not understanding what he's telling me. And I'm thinking, I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, I gotta go. But then I'm thinking, I also parked all the way across campus. Like, the college I was in, Alabama State, the way this parking was set up, if you basically did not stay on campus or you did not come to class like early as fuck, you didn't have no park. So I literally had to park by the damn stadium, which was like a 10-15 minute walk away. So I hang up the phone, and I run back into class, and I grab my shit, and I grab my stuff, and I just take off running. And like at this point, I'm really like actually running. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone was staring at me like a crackhead, because they like, why is she running? But nobody know. Like, the whole time I just got a call by my mom. I'm like, I'm freaking out. So my adrenaline pumping at this point. Like, I'm running across campus. Like, I really got to the car, and I really wanted to say about 3 minutes. That's how fast I was running. So I get in the car. The car didn't have no gas in it. I was supposed to put gas in the car on my way home. So I was like, I don't give a damn. Like, fuck it. Get in the car, and like I fly home. My house was like a 10-minute drive. You feel me? Like, if you drove the speed limit. But I did not. I got home in, I want to say, like 5-6 minutes. So when I'm pulling up at this point, I'm seeing like the ambulance, I'm seeing a fire truck. I'm like, I'm seeing like multiple paramedics, and then I got the neighbors all outside, and like at this point, I don't know what's going on. So I jump out the car, and I run inside, and there's paramedics everywhere. My boyfriend at the time, he was standing on the wall, and my dad, like, he was standing by the door where my mom was. So I'm inside. I'm like, what's going on? I need somebody to tell me what's going on. And like, nobody's talking to me. So at this point, I'm freaking out. I'm like, look, this is my house. You feel me? Like, I need somebody to tell me what's going on. Like, what's going on? And that's when my boyfriend at the time, he was like, your dad, he went in there to see if she was ready to go to work, and he said she wasn't breathing. So he came in there and asked if I knew how to do CPR. So him and my dad tried to do CPR on my mom, and my dad was calling the paramedics when it was happening. So at that point, when he told me that, like, I fell out. Like I couldn't, I don't know. It's like I couldn't stand up. So I tried to basically go into the room where all the paramedics and stuff was, because like in my head I'm like, fuck bullshit, y'all don't know what y'all doing, like let me do it, I got it, because like it's not going on. So I was still like lean, like how I'm sitting now, I was basically leaned on the wall, like squatting on the ground, like just like this. And I was just trying to get I don't know, honestly, I don't know, because like it was a lot. So after that, like I see them rolling her out the room, you feel me? And I'm like, she not moving. Why is she not moving? Like, what y'all doing? Like, she's not breathing. Like, what's going on? And while they're pulling her out the room, like they still got the paramedics just pushing down on her. Like, y'all, it's very vivid, because like I said, I remember it in my head, so it gets vivid. But they're pushing down basically on her chest, and I'm looking at it as it's happening. I'm like, that's not normal, because the way they're pushing down, like her body was basically moving as if it was a waterbed. So I'm like, that's not normal. And when they pulled her out, like if you listen to the song, and I'll link it down below, when they were pulling her out, like I asked the paramedics, like, is she okay? Is she breathing? And like they was like, she is, you feel me? She is. So I'm like, okay. But just seeing her like that, like I could not take it, like, and I'm looking at the look on my dad's face, and you feel me? Like my dad, he's a very strong man, but my parents were together for over 20 years. So I'm looking at him, and his face is just like, it's blank. It's blank. So I fell out again, you feel me? Like I couldn't understand what was going on. So I asked them, like, where y'all taking her, you feel me? And they told me they were taking her to the hospital that it wasn't really down the street, but that was the hospital they took her to. So once they told me that, you feel me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna follow y'all. So I had got in the car with my boyfriend at the time, like he had drove so we could follow them. And my dad, he stayed back at my house because like they left a mess. So he was like, he gonna go ahead and clean up this mess and stuff before she come back, because my mama, she ain't really like dirt. So my dad was like, he's just gonna go ahead and clean up and stuff, and then call me when I get there. That way when she come back, like it won't be no mess. So I'm in the car, and we following the ambulance at this point. So I'm calling my auntie, and she didn't answer. So I called my uncle, and I told him, you feel me? She ended up calling me, and I told her, and I told her the hospital we was going to. My brother, you feel me? I called him, I told him, and like I told him the hospital we was going to. And like that's all. That's the only people I called, because at this point, like I felt like I didn't really know what was, I don't know, I felt empty, like I don't know, I felt hurt, like it was a pain like I had not experienced before. So it was a lot. So on the way to the hospital, like I'm still sitting there, I'm basically hysterical at this point. But like in my head, in the back of my head, I'm like, all this is gonna be okay, you feel me? Like because this wasn't the first time my mom had to go to the hospital because she stopped breathing. Like, my family, we have a line of high blood pressure. So it's been an instance before where my mom, she stopped breathing because of that, but they were able to revive her. So in my head, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be just like that. Like, she gonna be okay. You feel me? Like, I'm not about to lose my mom. Like, no. Before I get to the part about the hospital, now, like I said, she passed on February the 15th. The thing is with February has always been a hard time for my mom, like my family, but especially my mom, because on February 8th was when her dad died. And then we had to bury him on Valentine's Day. So during that week, that's always been like a hard week for us, especially my mom, because like her dad was her best friend, like, and she always took that week hard. So that's always been like a stressful week for her. And then like 2 days before the 8th, like my dad's birthday is February 6th. My big daddy passed. My grandfather passed on February 8th. Buried him on the 14th. And then my mom passed on the 15th. So February is not a month that I ever really look forward to, like, ever. So we get to the hospital, you feel me? And they telling us like we have to wait. We have to wait, which I understood that part, because I'm like, I mean, the paramedics said she was breathing, so they would have to stabilize her and stuff before we were able to see her. So I understood that part, so I just waited, you know, and then everyone started showing up. So I just went in, I explained like we just have to wait. But then they come and they ask, you know, are we the family of my mom? Like, is this Miss Cannon's family? Because at this point, like, only us, we're just sitting in this waiting room. Like, we're not in the main lobby. We're in like just this off waiting room. And it was me, my boyfriend at the time, my brother, my auntie, her husband, my other auntie, her husband, and my other auntie. So they asked like, well, they looked at me and they was like, are these the children of Miss Cannon? I don't know why my auntie said no, the nieces or whatever. I think she was really confused. But I was like, and the part that really threw me, and after this, I kind of blacked out. I really did black out. Because after the man said that, he was like, this is exactly how he said it. Exactly how he said it. He was like, unfortunately, she's dead. When he said that, I felt everything in me drop. But I was also so angry because of how he said it. So I just remember trying to reach out and grab him. But I don't really remember what happened after that, because I blacked out. And I get that like from my dad, you feel me? Like, when your emotions get too heightened, whether you angry or you upset, like, just black out and you don't really recall what took place in that blackout moment. All I remember is after that, I'm outside the hospital and I'm squatting down on the ground. Like, I felt like I couldn't breathe. And my boyfriend at the time, like, he trying to hold me up, and I'm like, what the fuck, like, what's going on? Like, what did he just say? Like, what's... And then I see my brother, like, he stormed out the hospital. He's so mad, like, he knocking stuff over. Like, the police looking at him. They're talking about he don't stop, he getting arrested. I'm like, no, like, I need everybody I need to understand, like, what's going on? So, some random person ended up walking on my brother, asking if he was okay. And, like, my brother snapped. And at this point, like, I felt like I was dead. I feel like I'm watching all this happen, but I'm not there. And I called my dad, you feel me? I called him and I said, Dad, they said she dead. So I called him, I was like, they said she didn't make it. And my dad's like, what you saying? So he's like, what are you saying? You know? And I'm like, they said she didn't make it. So I'm hearing it in his voice, like he's not really wanting to hear that, like he's not wanting to believe it. And like he's talking about he's still cleaning up. And I'm like, she not coming back. So after I got off the phone with him, I went back in because like I said, I blacked out. Like that's the only information I had. So after I got myself together as much as I could, like I went back in and everybody, like, they in there crying. Like everybody, they was in there crying and I'm like, so this shit true. But after sitting there for a few more minutes, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. And like my emotions were changing, like they were going from sad to lost to mad, and I'm like, I can't. So this time a different doctor came in. Like I don't know what happened to the asshole that came in the first time and said it like that. I hope his ass got fired, bitch. But they came in and they asked, did anybody want to see her? And everybody's like, I can't see her like that, I can't. And I was the only one that was like, I want to. Because I knew, like, in order for me to believe it, I had to. Because I wasn't believing it. Like, I wasn't going for it. My mom was in her early 40s. And like, we were just sitting watching Ellen the day before, you know. Everything was fine. She was talking about the watch Ellen had on, like she couldn't wait to get her a watch. And I just kept staring at her because like I had just got her a Michael Kors purse and she was talking about the watch and like I just kept staring at her. I'm like, she don't even know like the stuff that she say she want. I'm already getting it. Like I had got my dad an iPhone, so I was about to get her one. So I'm just standing here looking at her and she's talking about the watch and I'm like, that week I was gonna go get it. So I told the doctor, like, I want to go. And I told him I wanted to go by myself. So I went back there, you feel me, to the room they had her in. And I went back to the room they had her in, and I had always heard of them stories, like, where the doctors would say someone's been pronounced deceased, but they wake back up. And, like, that's what I was hoping for. So when I went in the room, she was there, you feel me? I'm not gonna say, like, how she looked, but it's just, let's just say I went into the room right after, you feel me, they pronounced her dead, so they didn't clean up anything or nothing. So how she was how I saw her. So I went into the room, and she was laying there. And it was like, at that moment, you feel me? I just felt like empty. I felt gone. And it's like, I automatically knew the person who I was before I walked into that room had died with her, because I did not feel like myself no more. I didn't know what myself was. Like, this woman, she gave birth to me. Like, she gave birth to me. It's like she was there for me since day one. Like, me and my mom, yeah, we butted heads, but that's because I was literally like the miniature version of her. Like, we had the same attitude, the same mouth. So that's part of the reason why we got along so well, but we also butted heads a lot too. Everybody butted heads to their parents. Y'all get what I'm saying. But like, so once again, like, I started crying, but I didn't want to cry to the point where the people outside the room heard me, or to where it made me look weak. So I just kept staring at her. I was waiting. I just kept on waiting for her eyes to open, like, and everyone be like, it was a misunderstanding, because like I said, like, this had happened before. So I'm like, y'all just gotta give her time, you know? You gotta give her time. Y'all not giving her time. And I told them that. I'm like, y'all gotta give it time. You can't just do that. You can't just say somebody dead. Like, you're not giving it time. So I went in, and I just held her hand. And I told her, you feel me, like, I'm gonna look after Christian and my dad no matter what. Like, I got it. And I told her, you feel me, like, if this is happening for real, like, if you gone for real, I'm gonna hold it down for her, you know? I'm gonna make sure Christian don't go without, and he don't have to feel it. So I left the room, and I told the doctor again, I said, give her time. Don't move her. Give her time. This has happened before. Sometimes it could take longer, you know? Give her time. And he said, okay. Okay. So I went back home, and like, my dad, he was there. I can tell he had been crying. But like I said, you feel me, like, my dad a strong man. That's not something he gonna let you see him do. So my first thought was Christian, because Christian was still at school. And I'm like, we gotta tell Christian. And I started crying all over again, because I'm like, the Christian was 8 at the time. He's in school. And he has to come home from school to hear that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I told my dad to go check Christian out. You feel me? And bring him home. And the whole time, you know, like, while my dad gone, I'm trying to put myself together to a point where I'd be like strong enough to tell him. Because I know I had to be the one to tell him. I didn't want my dad to do it, but I know I wanted my dad to be there, but I know I had to tell him. So Christian got home and like, he was so happy. I still got the videos in my phone of him like dancing around the living room and stuff that day before I told him, because he asked like, where was she? And when he asked that, like, that's when I sat him down on the couch with my dad. And I told him that my mom had went home with her dad. Like, she's happy now. And he wasn't really understanding it until we explained it a bit. But it's just like, he knew that our grandfather was deceased. And I just told him, like, she's in a better place. And she's happy because she's with the one person that she loved so much. And this isn't a time for us to be sad. Although we were gonna feel sad because she was our favorite person and she's not with us no more. But we have to be happy for her that she's with him, because we all knew how hard that week was for my mom. And it's just, that year was the hardest to the point she didn't survive it. Like, those stories y'all hear that people could actually pass away from a heartache or pain is actually true. Because like, that was a very hard week for her. And that's a week that we all had to sit and watch her basically be how I am now. I'm here, but I'm not here. So I told him she's with God, she's in heaven, and she's with her dad. He was upset. But Christian hasn't always been the type of person that will talk about his feelings. And to this day, he's still not that type of person. Christian's a very quiet person unless he's comfortable with you. But he cried, and like, I just remember telling my dad, like, I'll be back. I had walked off into the washroom because like, I couldn't take it. But the room that she stayed in, you feel me? It still had all her stuff in it. And that's what made it hard, because Christian's room was literally across from that room. And I just remember like one morning waking up after this happened. I think it was the morning after, if I'm correct. I heard crying. And it was like so quiet in the house, but all I heard was crying. And I go out the room, I go out my room, and I walk towards her room, and it's my dad. And he was just sitting on the edge of the bed, like with his head hanging over it, just crying. And that's when he was like, he just couldn't hold it in no more. Y'all, I can't finish this video. Sorry, I can't. I'm surprised I was able to go this far, but I can't finish this video. Long story short, my mom passed from basically a heart attack and a stroke combined. Like I said, she did have high blood pressure, and she was on medication for her high blood pressure. The same medication my dad is on for his high blood pressure. So that's why my mom passed from a heart attack and a stroke combined. It was just a long week for her, you know? And a lot of y'all, you know, you ask, why do I have Christian and stuff like that? And I planned on making another video, but I don't know if I will. But that's why I have Christian. Like, that's why Christian lives with me, because my dad, he has high blood pressure as well. He takes the same medication. And my dad is 15 years older than my mother. So I try to take away as much stress as I can from him. That way the same thing doesn't happen. Because my mom was under a lot of stress. Not even just dealing with the fact of her father's death anniversary. Like, she was under a lot of stress. Some things I didn't know about until after she passed. And I have my mom's phone to this day, you feel me? And it's a lot of things that I discovered after she passed that made it harder, because like, you'll really never know what somebody's going through. Like, even your parents, you feel me? So like, I tell everybody to this day, you feel me? One, always do unto others as you want done upon yourself. Do not say something to somebody you won't want said to you. Don't do something to somebody you won't want done to you. Like, respect everybody. But also when it comes to your parents, I'm living proof that I didn't understand what I had until it was gone. Parents do so much for us that we aren't aware of. And it's just the small things that we're aware of, we're not always grateful. It hit me so hard after my mom passed, you feel me? Because I gained so many more responsibilities. Things that I didn't think I was ready for, but I didn't have a choice but to be ready for. When I say value your parents and spend as much time with them as you possibly can, I'm not just saying that to just say it. I'm saying it because I was literally sitting watching Ellen with my mom less than 24 hours before she passed. And I wasn't expecting that. So just value your time with your parents. Get as much knowledge as you can from them. Like, whether it's scheduling doctor's appointments, grocery shopping, cleaning, anything that you know that you get the idea, I need to pick up the phone and call my parents. Learn it. Because I had to learn some things the hard way because I didn't always listen. And I know that now. And I tell everybody, you feel me, like, parents are so strong. It takes a lot to be a parent. And I admire every parent out there. And if I didn't before, I promise you I do now. That's it. I don't know, y'all. That's it. Like, anyways, that's the story of the day I found out my mom passed. Yeah, I'm done. Shade is out. I'm done.
Little they know I bleed this shit from the beat to the flow. From kicking in doors to dealing with hoes. From trapping out the bed to hanging with the bros to pouring up foes. See, y'all didn't know I so dope, so cold in the lie. Cause these niggas took me as a joke. She just a little kid, she ain't saying shit we ain't already know. Talking about making it, but she just faking it. Talk about money, bitch, know I be making it. Spin shit, yeah, I be creating the world, I'm facing it. My story, I'm telling it. Hoes can't relate to the truth, you escaping it. But I'm remaking my heart, be taking it. But I'm replacing the gas, I be smoking the blunts, I be rolling the clips out the gun. But you know I'm reloading.